Peace, love, and blessings, fam. Day 8 of Wisdom of the Ages by Wayne W. Dyer. Again, if you haven't seen the first 7 days, you can check them out on YouTube at Loyalty Life, spelled L-Y-F-E, Legacy LLC. Again, Loyalty Life, Legacy LLC on YouTube. They're also on my Facebook page, which you can click on the link there on my feed. So let's get started. Divinity. You are a distinct portion of the essence of God in yourself. Why then are you ignorant of your noble birth? Why do you not consider whence you came? Why do you not remember when you are eating, who you are, who eat, and whom you feed? Do you not know that it is the divine you feed, the divine you exercise? You carry a God about with you. Men are disturbed not by things that happen, but by their opinions of the things that happen. Epictetus, an emancipated slave, was a Greek Stoic philosopher. No written works survive, but his pupil, Arrian, preserved his essential doctrines in a manual. When I was training in the field of counseling psychology many years ago, Epictetus was a source of inspiration to me. His name surfaced repeatedly in the study of how the mind impacts our emotions and our behavior, and he was consistently referenced in the literature on rational emotive therapy. I am still impressed by the wisdom of this man, who was born a slave in the 1st century after the crucifixion, became a freedman in AD 90, and was expelled from Rome by the despotic emperor whose tyrannical rule Epictetus criticized. Years later, I dug into the primary works of this Stoic philosopher, read his discourses, and learned more about his philosophy. The two selections I have cited here are valuable spiritual and philosophical insights that are almost 2,000 years old. I have included them in this book because I believe they can enrich your life as they have mine. In the longer section, which begins, "You are a distinct portion of the essence of God." Epictetus, my apologies, Epictetus, it's Epictetus. Epictetus reminds us that we often forget that we contain the divine spark, a part of God. This powerful idea is so different to grasp, yet Epictetus insists from a background of slavery that it is simply the truth. Imagine being fully aware that you carry God about with you. If God is everywhere, then there is no place that God is not. And this includes you. Once you connect to this understanding, you regain the power of your very source. Rather than seeing yourself as separate from the miraculous power of God, you claim your divinity and reclaim all the potency that God, the Creator, is. When you are eating, you are ingesting the Creator and replenishing the Creator. When you sleep, you breathe in the Creator and allow the Creator to rest. When you exercise, you move about on the Creator and strengthen the Creator at the same time. This may make sense right now as you read these words, but you are probably like many of us who did not grow up with this concept. A more popular image is something like this: God as a giant vending machine in the sky in the form of a white-bearded male on a throne. Deposit tokens in the form of prayers, and God sometimes delivers the goods, and other times not. This is the idea of God as separate and distinct from ourselves. Epictetus suggests shifting from this concept of the universe as a monarchy to an understanding that you are a principal work, a fragment of God Himself. Sai Baba is a contemporary avatar living in India who knows and practices being the divine spark of God, which he is a part of and which is a part of him. He publicly demonstrates his God-likeness in many ways, one of which is a variation of the divine ability to manifest fish and loaves. When a Western journalist asked Sai Baba, "Are you God?" he gently responded, "Yes, I am, and so are you. The only difference between you and me is that I know it and you don't." When you know that you are a divine manifestation of God, you have made conscious contact with God, and you treat yourself and others as expressions of the divine. In Rome and in Greece, this is what Epictetus was telling us 2,000 years ago. Trust in your divine nature. Never dispute the nobility of your true self, and treat yourself with the same reverence that you have for God. Epictetus' second observation, as simple as it sounds, has been perhaps the most useful information I have ever processed in my life. It is our opinions of things, and not the things themselves, that cause the disturbances of our lives. What a great source of liberation to know that no one can upset us, that nothing out there can make us miserable, that we control how we feel by how we decide to process things, events, and other people and their opinions. As a school counselor many years ago, I frequently invoked the wisdom of this observation. When a student was upset by something someone else said or had done, I would ask, "Suppose you didn't know what they had said about you. Would you still be upset?" The student would respond with something like, "Of course not. How could I be upset about something if I didn't know about it?" I would then gently offer, "So, it isn't what they said or did that happened, and you weren't upset at all until you learned of it, and then decided to react by being disturbed." The realization that no one can make us upset without our consent began to be a part of the student's awareness. These two gems from Epictetus have influenced my life and writing, and I enjoy reminding myself of their value each and every day. I share them with you because they have been so valuable to me. The spiritual insights from Epictetus are combined in this ancient Sanskrit saying, "God sleeps in the minerals, awakens in the plants, walks in the animals, and thinks in you." In other words, there is no place that God is not sleeping, awakening, or walking about. God is the universal source of all life, a presence rather than a person, and this presence thinks in you. And how shall you think? Use this presence of God to realize the enormity of your thinking capacity. It is not the things, events, circumstances, and opinions of others that cause you to feel uneasy and unsettled. It is how you use the God within you, your invisible source, to process those extremes that determines your happiness and nothing more. Realize that God is in you, with you, behind you, before you, and all around you, and can be felt everywhere, particularly in your opinions of the things that happen to you. To put these two ancient yet very up-to-date observations to work for you, begin to remind yourself daily that you are a divine creation and entitled to be treated lovingly by others as well as by yourself. By seeing yourself as connected to rather than separated from God, you will feel a greater reverence for yourself. Practice regular rituals to affirm the presence of God in you and all that you do. Again, practice regular rituals to affirm the presence of God in you and all that you do. Bless your food and give thanks, and as you do, remind yourself that you are feeding the divine. Similarly, during your exercise activities, visualize the energy of God in every cell. Give thanks for everything that you receive, including the rain, air, sun, and storms, how they manifest, however they manifest. Gratitude is one way of recognizing the God in all things. Let go of any inclination you have to blame external circumstances for your unhappiness. Whenever you feel disturbed, ask yourself, how can I change my opinion of these things to remove my discomfort? Then work at it until the blame is gone. This can be accomplished quite readily if you are willing to shift off blame and on to God realization, as Epictetus encourages us 2 millennia ago. That was day 8, divinity. The part of it like I've said before, Sri Master gives us a blueprint of how to become divine, a divine being. And gods mostly observe. They only interact when asked, or for extremely rare cases where something is possibly going to end things here that we would never even fathom or begin to understand. So lately, and let me preface, I call God the divine creator of all, because if we know there are more than one God, it's no need to refute, argue, fight. You can have whatever religious preferences you want, but we know that there is more than one God. So to me, it's a bit disrespectful to call the divine creator of all things in existence, the divine prime creator, a title. No, we do not know their name, but the best reference I can give is divine prime creator of all things. So if the divine prime creator of all things is in us at all times, it's a powerful thing to understand and accept, but it's even more difficult to walk into when you're dealing with earthling humans on a daily basis. I've been questioning and understanding more the levels of compassion in me dealing with Lady Kuan Yin recently and Lord Shiva, who are 2 definite gods of compassion, humility, sacrifice, and destruction, as far as removing and replacing things that are old, outdated, no longer beneficial. And I've been observing how it can be difficult to be compassionate to those who don't truly know who they are. So if they don't truly know who they are, then how can they truly love themselves in order to truly love you? So we'll receive hatred, anger, bitterness, all being projected from individuals who believe they know themselves but still don't realize they walk in a level of darkness. Operating in divinity is always shining the light. And like I said, it's not always the simplest and easiest thing to do. So as he said, remind yourself daily that you are a divine creation. So right now, if you're still watching, I want you to repeat after me. I am a divine creation and entitled to be treated lovingly by others. I am a divine creation and am entitled to be treated lovingly by myself. Remember those things. Now, the practicing regular rituals, No matter what your religion is, you can practice regular rituals. And I've said before on some of my other videos, if you have time to scroll, you have time for everything. People will say, I don't have the time to read the Bible. I don't have the time to read scripture. If you spend more than 30 minutes on your phone, you've had time at some point to take 30 seconds to a minute out of your day to say a prayer to the divine creator of all, to Mother Mary, to your ancestors, to read a scripture from the Bible, from El Quran, from the Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. There are so many options to choose from. You can say a prayer to your higher self. Whatever it is, start daily to make a ritual. Let's go, for instance, and say it 11:11. Stop at 11:11 and just pray. I am thankful and I am grateful for every experience. If you need to, write it down or set an alarm on your phone for 11:11 to say every day at 11:11, I am thankful and I am grateful for every experience. It's that simple. It can drastically change your life, and the more you commit to daily rituals, your consciousness will begin to shift. And it will shift in a way that will allow you to see the world from the eyes of divinity. And again, it gets to the point that you begin to control how you respond to others' opinions, but it comes from a place of sincere hurt and understanding that they really don't know what they do. I believe that's it. And I had to just take that moment to pause because, on the path that I am on spiritually, I understand a lot more than I am able to fully express. Because a lot of the times, people aren't ready to receive the truth, no matter how truthful it may be. People come to you in their own space, in their own moment. And if you're ready to receive different levels of that truth, you can go to galacticus.com, GALIGHTICUS.com. Or if you hit me up, inbox me, I can request for you to be added to the Facebook group. It's not anything major. It's not like you're going to be denied unless something is seen that you might be an agent of darkness. And there are some individuals who do not realize that they are agents of darkness and they operate in chaos. So if you get rejected, that's the first hint there that you should practice embodying more light into your life. And you can do that by praying. You can do that by listening to mantras. You can definitely do that by shifting your conscious from saying God to the divine creator. Why? Because as I presented, there are multiple gods. And if you are not giving a title, then any god, even gods of darkness, can take hold of that energy and they can utilize it against you. Yes, you may still reap some benefits, but we know how it is in Hollywood. A lot of these people are where they are because of contracts that they've made, and they operate completely in the dark, but they're successful, aren't they? So I present it like this. Just because if I put poison in your drink, even if you don't know it's there, the poison can still affect you, correct? So many of us have been poisoned to doubt and remove ourselves from divinity. And I just ask you to fully accept the divine that is in you and begin to walk in it, no matter how hard it may be. It's a daily step, but take one step at a time. Walk in love, walk in light, walk in peace, and know that you are loved.